All right, Ballbreaker, Malcolm's part. I'll start by saying there are two versions of the intro. We have the studio version and the live version. They are slightly different, but both are played with your fingers, okay? So you either do it with chicken picking like this, or you can slide your pick into your hand, and you have to experiment, but you'll find how to do it. And just play with your fingers like this, the thumb, the index, and the ring finger. Well, we start with this sort of D chord. So open D string and the B note here on the G, 4th fret. Okay. Then the A. Now the 3 strings open. This is sort of G with the A on the bottom. Okay, so the A again, E G, and the E. Okay, so the whole thing sounds like this. So this is the studio version, okay? You can play the G, just the note here, or the full G chord. Both ways sound okay to me. Now the live version is interesting because we have the low E pedal note on the whole thing. You can see in this video he literally is playing just with his fingers. And the tricky thing is that you have to slide your pick back into your fingers. So it takes a little bit of practice, but it's doable. It's not impossible. It sounds something like this. Slide your pick through your finger and you play it both times instead of just the second repeat. So you start together with Angus's part. It's very similar. The chords are the same. The only difference is that you're playing the low E all the time. The D chord, you add the low E with your thumb. Okay. Then the A, same thing, low E, E on the D string here, and the A note here. So you're not playing the A string at all here. So again, just the open strings here, skipping the A once again. So repeat, and the E. Okay, you can just play with the barré here because we're just playing 3 notes, so you don't need to play the full chord here. So and the second one, slide your pick into your finger and you end the same way. And yeah, that's just the intro, and we already have 2 different versions to choose from. For the main riff, Malcolm is playing with the full E chord here. And the G, he's playing with his pinky and ring fingers. It's a little tricky to get this change done right, but once you get used to it, it makes total sense, Instead of, you could play like this too, but it's a lot more work. You see, I've messed it up twice here. There's a lot more movement for this change. Instead, we have your hand barely moves. But the most important thing to play this riff correctly is not the way you play the chord with your left hand, but rather your right hand. It's really, really easy to overplay and sort of go like block the strings. It's fine, but if you listen closely, you'll notice that the first two E chords are slightly with less energy, and emphasis should be on the G chord, so sort of. Do you hear how it rolls a little better playing it like this instead of. You can keep your hand very relaxed for the first two notes and concentrate on hitting just the lower strings for the first two E chords, so something like. A very smooth movement here. Okay, don't roll your hand too much. You don't need to pick all the strings, just the bottom two, sort of. Very minimal movement here. And then you strike with full force on the G. And there goes my pick. Next part is the pre-chorus, and it goes something like this. And G, and D, D again, A, and okay, so something. The first one is rather just the sort of half strum, sort of muted one, so that's sort of Malcolm thing to do. Okay, and then G, D, G, D, okay? Okay, so this is the pre-chorus. Second one, you can let the chords ring, and then we go to the chorus, which is and then you play the same thing but letting the E chord ring. Okay, the only different part is the rhythm on the solo. 2, 3, 4. I'll play it again slowly. Basically the main riff, but in A, open A C chord, just about a C chord, and then the A. Okay? And what I suggest you to do is block the other strings with your pinky finger here, So when you play the open A string, you don't play something accidentally. So, right? And you're right there, so you just have to press the pinky finger to play the C chord next. And then you play the something very similar to the intro, but we are playing it in a different key. Easy enough, right? G, D, C, D, C, A. And there's a little A strum here in between. And then you play the same thing as the last part of the pre-chorus, you know, the G, D, G, D. And then the intro once again, but you know, strumming all the way. And you can play the G, full G chord here. And that's basically most of the song. You can play the whole thing with just that. There's a little variation towards the end. It's just repeating the intro once here and... So I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time.